What's up, guys? How y'all feeling? It's your boy, Brutally Honest Goodbread, and we kicking off a new Facebook page. So y'all make sure y'all follow me at the Brutally Honest Goodbread Facebook page, guys. We gonna do it big over there. So this gonna be my first live, and this live is due to last night. Last night I was out and about, and I was actually with a couple of the homies and a couple of the ladies, and we had a conversation, and it came up, and of course we started talking about this polygamy relationship and monogamy, and I made a couple of comments. You know, my comments be based off facts, and although people like to get in these little circles of people and pretend and be fake, the way I am on social media, guys, that's how I am in real life. If I can't be myself around a person, if I can't speak my truth, and don't get me wrong, disrespect is only according to that person. So if they find me disrespectful, they find me disrespectful. But again, if I can't be myself while being around people, I don't go. But in any event, I was with some peoples last night, and we had a good conversation, a great old conversation about monogamy and polygamy, and I gave some good examples of why a lot of women nowadays, and this is no slat to women, but a lot of women nowadays, they're not built for a monogamous relationship, bro. They not really built for a monogamous relationship. They need help, but they come up they get raised with these selfish traits that is retarded. But in any event, we was talking about that topic, and I gave them an example, you know what I mean? So guys, right now, right, as y'all coming in to the chat, I want y'all to put your favorite restaurant, ladies too, put your favorite restaurant. When you get money, what's your favorite restaurant to go sit down and have you a nice meal? Put it in the chat as you come into the live stream this morning. Put what's your favorite restaurant in the chat. I ain't getting back to last night. I'm going somewhere with that too, guys, because we talked about how we everything needs two. It needs two to make it, two to tango. You know what I mean? And right now we pushing this independent, I could do it all by myself mentality. Mothers, they pushing the father out the scene just so that they can raise the kid by themselves as if they have an award that they give you for doing that. And we all see that is the worst thing you can do, because those have that has the worst statistics. When you look up our statistics as a community, the worst kids is being brought up by a single mother. And unbelievable so, the last 30 years, single mothers has chose to raise their kid by themselves, just with the father's income, just with the money from the dad. But they have raised their kids by themselves, and you can't tell them that they haven't done a horrible job, even though the statistics show that, guys. And we talking about our community, the black community, bro. I just posted a news. Kid got bodied in Queens in the middle of the basketball court, bodied. It was not a white boy. It wasn't Donald Trump. It wasn't white supremacy in sight. So we gotta stop our foolishness. You know what I mean? We gotta focus on ourselves, and it's gonna start with the overall gist of what we're gonna talk about today, guys. People gotta stop fronting, and they gotta pour into them. All right, a lot of people, and majority of the women, y'all ladies, y'all may be born with value, but you still gotta work on that, because you know value lowers or it gets higher. So just because you feel you was born with the chicken, don't mean you don't want to work on yourself and get dope in other areas. All right, guys? So think about it, right? So the reason why I asked you guys to put your restaurants, your favorite restaurants in the chat, is because, right, what 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 make restaurants a restaurant, right? What make it a restaurant, right? Customers, right? The restaurant industry, the food industry won't work without restaurants and customers. You see, and we talked about that in our conversation last night, where you need two things, and that equates to really, you need two people. You need a man, sis, bruh. You should go get you a girl. You should work on you so that you can identify the good girls from the bad ones, and you can stop picking the bad ones and spooking yourself. But it all gonna start with working on you. But in any event, two things are better than one. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a real. I ain't no cap, guys. Y'all know I don't cap. I don't come on here. I don't want to keep people stupid, and I don't want to keep people hateful. I want to point out what you need to work on, bro. And it's you. It's you. But in any event, let's get back to the topic, right? Can a restaurant be a restaurant without customers? If a restaurant don't have no customers, what is good as the restaurant? What good is the restaurant, right? But what makes a great restaurant, guys? Put in the chat right now some things that make the a great restaurant a great restaurant. Ladies, y'all too. Put in the chat, ladies. What makes a restaurant great? Can't just say the food, you know what I mean? We know the food gotta be good, quality food gotta be good, the location, you know what I mean, gotta be dope. Customer service gotta be key. And the pricing, if the pricing was right, it would work. But you see how several things make the restaurant great, ladies. Hint, ladies, not just the food, but but that depends on you, right? Because customers have preference. Now, what are some great traits, ladies? Because and see, the thing about this comparison, I'm going somewhere. Ladies, you gonna be the restaurant. You ladies are the restaurant. And you see, guys are the customers. Guys are the customers. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you want to cut it, guys are the customers. And ladies, y'all the restaurant. So when I ask you what make a great restaurant, it's not just one thing. It is not just one thing. So now, what are some great traits in a customer? When I ask ladies, knowing that you ladies are the restaurant, what do you feel are some great traits in a customer? The majority of you gonna say a customer that tips, a customer that's not loud, a customer that doesn't want to go to the bathroom 50 times in your establishment, right? A customer that don't steal. Been and stole all your plates, been and stole your little salt and pepper shakers out of there and all of that. You know what I mean? So that you don't want those type customers. You want a customer that chill, that tip, come frequently, that always come, right? That always shop there. Shit, it'd be nice if the customer eventually invest in the restaurant, right? You get where I'm going? Men are the customers and women are the restaurants in these relationships nowadays, guys. Remember, ladies, you always gonna have two type of customers. Fellas, there's two type of customers. You got some customers that don't even want to eat at the nice restaurant. You got some customers that prefer the fast food. It's your job as the restaurant to identify the customers in your location, in your area. You got to know what customer is what you're serving. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want to be offering something that the customers in your location don't even want, right? That wouldn't work in your favor. You would end up like one of these females, right? Single by choice. You know how they say single, I'm single by choice. And that go back to what I told y'all. I never saw a fancy a empty empty restaurant that's popping. There's no such thing as a popping empty restaurant. Like, so you got to be careful when what you promote. Promoting this singleism is not what it all seems to be. You know what I mean? But gotta understand some restaurants, just like we have two types of customers, some restaurants cater to the cheaper customers. Some restaurants don't want to cater because of their location, so they got to cater to the cheaper customer. This is why location is important, and also sometimes relocating is very important. These are choices and decisions that you gonna have to make as an individual. And if you don't make the choice and decision and you get what you get the cheaper customer, then who fault is that? Because you get a choice, you get a decision. You can't blame them consequences on nobody. Because remember, the choice in that situation would be to relocate. And I'll go over more of life choices that you're gonna have to make, so that if you ain't making these choices, you already know you ain't even in the right direction of growth. But there's some real choices you really gonna have to make. We all get choices, decisions, and then it's consequences, guys. Remember that all of the time. But again, ladies, some of y'all don't cater to the elite customers. Some of y'all cater to the cheaper customers. And then there's some women that will not fold. There's some women that is not gonna fold. They don't even want that. They don't want that grease stuff in their restaurant. They don't want the fast food in their restaurant. They want elegance. They want elite. That's how they present themselves. They don't have that in their restaurant, because they don't want that particular customer. That cheap customer don't even go in there. You see, there are women who run an elite establishment, and the bad guys magically don't go in there. They don't go in there. They don't. You know what I mean? This is why I tell you, if you pour into you, you will repel all the wicked that you say you don't like. But a lot of y'all like the stuff that y'all attract, because you are that. You are that. That's all you know. Salute, squad. Come on in, yeah. We having ourselves a good conversation. But you gotta think, though. You gotta think. Don't let it go over your head. Don't play dumb, confused, and then go on attack. You know what I mean? I'm not bashing. I just come on here and get you guys, challenge you guys to think. When you're thinking, you're actually moving. You're doing something. I just want y'all to start thinking, challenging your mind, so you could relearn the stuff, relearn some good stuff. Because the stuff that we sit and hold be wrong, guys. The whole default setting is wrong. It's based on a lie. And see, y'all raised to be fake and phony. I was raised to be fake and phony. That's how I know. But I refuse to continue on with the bullshit, with the foolishness. We will not. You know what I mean? But in the event, let's get back to this, because this was getting good, guys. Now, ladies, real quick, do y'all remember back in what was that, 2010, when Bloomberg, for my New Yorkers, remember when Bloomberg was the mayor, and he had them letter grades on the restaurants and stuff? So, ladies, if I asked you, being at the restaurant, what letter grade do you give yourself? What would you put in my chat right now? A, B, C, or D? What if I walked past your restaurant and I looked on your door of your restaurant? What letter grade would be on there? What would you give yourself? You know what I mean? Put it in the chat. And a lot of women nowadays is going to put, I'm at A, You'll get a few that'll try to play fake humble and say they're B. But if you're single at the moment you put that in the chat, then you're lying. You're lying because again, I ain't never seen a a dope a grade A or B empty restaurant. I never seen it. Never. I seen McDonald's, Popeyes empty at some on some occasions. Even they get packed. Even they get packed. Message. So single ladies, knock it off. Do the work so that you can find you a customer because there's so many customers out here, lady. There's customers. So if you don't have customers, something wrong with you, man. Let's keep it real. And a lot of people run around here and they try to normalize foolishness on social media. They try to cater to the dumb shit and tell y'all otherwise. I'm telling you, go get you a customer, man. You're looking crazy out here. You're looking crazy out here. I never saw an empty 5-star restaurant in my life. And this is the thing. Y'all do a great job marketing in a commercial, that's social media, y'all do a great job marketing y'all restaurant. I mean, in the flyers be looking nice. Everything be looking great, especially the food. You know what I mean? The food represent the SEX, guys. You know how YouTube algorithm is. You know how Facebook algorithm is. Remember, going back to what we said, what are some of the things that make a great restaurant, right? And we had said that customer service, and that's going to be communication. If the chick can't communicate, then you not going to care how good the food, a real dude not going to care how good the food is because communication is key. If I tell you what I want and you give me something that I didn't want, then I'm not going to eat that, right? Then you got location. The location is highly important because I'm not fitting to dress up for a nice restaurant that's in a bad neighborhood, in a rough spot. So location is key. Also, when you do the work on yourself, you tend to understand that your environment sometimes make up your perception on life. So if the restaurant is in a bad environment, you already know what type of mood, what type of mode, mentality gonna happen when you go in there, that restaurant, guys. It's common sense at this point. And then you got pricing, guys. Do the cost match the quality of service and what I'm getting? Am I getting a bang for my buck? You gotta ask yourself this. These are things that make up a good restaurant, not just the food. And this is the problem in these relationships. They don't have much to offer because nowadays, all that's being marketed is the food. And again, they do a great job marketing the food on the flyers, but they forget the customer has to go in that store at some point. After all the marketing, after all the lying and the crab leg and the gaslighting and the catfishing and the customer had to go in that store for himself. You get that? You get that? So this is why it's in our best interest, especially ladies, it's in your best interest to really do the self-care. Don't just talk about it. Don't just run with the trendy words that come out in your head that make you feel good and it really do that shit that y'all be talking about. Really do that. The self-care. All self-care mean is just going into a zone by yourself, pouring into you, meaning reading for the intent of educating yourself. If you're gonna watch something, watch it for education. Stop all this entertainment. Get off of social media. You want to start adding value to you. The more you consume is the more you give away your value. You know what I mean? Our biggest value, especially ladies, your biggest value is your attention. And what you give your attention, you have to make sure you get back quality information, premium stagnation for that. You don't give your attention to stuff that don't give you very little back. And that go for men and women. Man, you ain't going into no restaurant. You should not try to spend money in a restaurant that only have the chicken. It's a million things on their list. It's a million things on their menu that they sit here and try to market us with. But when we get into that restaurant, the only thing good is the chicken, which equals the sex. And sometimes y'all get tricked. Sometimes y'all don't even have access to that. Sometimes they giving out dry biscuits. The only thing good is the chicken. And guys, you gotta pour into you too. Cause I would hate for you to be one of them dudes that get intimidated by fancy restaurants. So you don't even go in there. You's a McDonald's, Popeyes eating dude all the time. Like that's you prefer that. Like that shows the type of self-improvement you do with yourself. That shows the type of quality of dude you with. And that shows how you were raised, bro. We have a lot of dudes, again, going back to what we talked about. It's a lot of dudes been being raised by their moms and their moms only. They might have saw their dad on the weekend, but for the most part, 5 out of 7 days, they are female, feminine raised. And those be the guys that sell themselves cheap. Those be the guys that don't even want a fancy 5-star restaurant. You gotta change, my guy. You gotta change the laws of your mind. You gotta understand that you can't. You God. And you deserve quality. You deserve everything. So don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. And that's what kind of kickstarted the conversation last night, because then we talked about who be really settling in these relationships. And the ladies, they refuse to believe that men settle way more than the female. Men be settling, man. And then we went into the monogamy relationship. You saw the restaurants nowadays only got chicken. The only thing good in these restaurants nowadays, which is these women, is the chicken. So this is why dudes end up going somewhere else. After they get the chicken from over here and then they go over there. I'm not condoning cheating. I'm just explaining the psychology behind cheating and just adding a little spin on it. You know what I mean? But this is why they go get the chicken from over here, then they go to the restaurant over there and get the rice. Or they get the collard greens or the baked mac from over there. And it's crazy, but these are the facts, guys. These are the facts. So guys, I'm not gonna hold y'all much longer. You know what I mean? I'ma see y'all. I need y'all guys to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget, we got the Brutally Honest Goodbread YouTube channel where we do body cam reactions. We also have the Mr.Goodbread reaction channel where we do things like this. We have conversations like this, me and Love Dorsey. So it's popping, guys. We got the problem, and then you can get the solution if you really want the solution. So you want to subscribe to the Brutally Honest Goodbread channel for the problem. You can see it you can see it firsthand on them body cams. And then you come on down to the Mr.Goodbread reaction channel and get the solution. Find out why. What's the psychology behind the reason why we act a fool and refuse to take in new information to change the way we see life. All right, y'all. Don't forget, check out the videos that's going to pop up on the end of the screen. You're going to get one that's a playlist. You're going to get the other that was yesterday's video on the Mr. Goodbread reaction channel. I see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday.